Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs. Nice weather is finally here, and it has a funny way of inspiring home projects. Good news, your hometown lumber store is ready to help make those ideas happen. From quality decking and railing to energy-efficient windows and beautiful new doors, you'll find the products, expertise, and service you need to upgrade your home this season. So whether you're building, updating, repairing, or finally getting started, we're here to help every step of the way. Visit Sigourney Lumber today. Everything you need for summer projects all in one place.
Hey, and welcome into Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We're live at the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. Woo! We got a rocking crowd here at the Rock Island Tap. Make sure you stop in tonight or any night. And if you're of age and get yourself an adult beverage, sit back and have a great time. Watch the show. Maybe you're watching at home tonight. I know we've got some faithful viewers that we're even asking about tonight. So we appreciate you tuning in each and every Tuesday night live at the Rock Island Tap. And we are going to start things with a bang. We've got Neil, Curtis, who we didn't even know Curtis was going to be here tonight.
This is a shock and a blessing all at the same time.
And we've got Josh, who's also shocking and a blessing each and every Tuesday night. What's going on, guys?
You're definitely shocking.
In the best possible way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love how Steve mentioned that we've got our faithful viewers out there. And some of them are so faithful. Steve and I got a message on the way here tonight wanting to make sure, hey, is the show on? And Keaton, we're doing it.
This one's for you.
It is all for you. Josh, I do not want to overshadow you anymore. This is your time to shine. What is going on at the tap?
We love you, Josh.
Here at the tap, we've got a couple events coming up. Thursday night, we've got Nick Ryan and Wicker. They're going to be here from 7 to 10 Thursday. We also have the raffle for the Shadow going on, and that'll be at 6:30. Then Sunday, we've got Bingo from 1 to 3. So come out and check that out. We've also got sign up for the Tap Golf Tournament September 12th.
Cool.
So you can check that out on the website as well.
Sweet.
And you can sign up in a team of 4 or individually for that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Two things I was going to ask real quick. Ticket sales for the bike. We doing good? We on track?
Yep. It's looking good. It's one ticket for $25 or 5 for $100.
Okay. And
you can get those up until 6:30 on Thursday.
Right up till the cutoff.
Oh, cool.
Time.
Correct.
Oh, awesome.
There's still time, folks.
Plenty of time. Get your tickets. And what kind of a turnout did you have last Saturday for the V-Dubs? I know there was a little rain ran through the area, but I mean, how many cars do you know?
I want to say it was around 14 or so. I don't remember exactly.
Yep.
I was here for a little bit and
here just long enough, right?
Here long enough.
Yeah, I get
but
that.
It was a good turnout for a crowd.
Awesome.
So
that's super
that's
cool.
great.
Yeah, there's always something to do here at the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. Make sure you get out here. You still got time to get out here right now.
Yeah, come
and
see us.
Come check it out live, man. We got
awesome.
a heck of a show in for you tonight. The one and only Ben Block coming up next.
Looking for a laid-back bar with a great selection? Head to the Rock Island Tap at 206 Rock Island Avenue in Oskaloosa. With 24 beers on tap, you'll find everything from craft brews to your favorite domestics, plus whiskey and ice-cold Bloody Marys. Grab a snack with popcorn, chips, or a frozen pizza, or better yet, bring your own food and make it your kind of night. Just remember, 21 and over only. And yes, you'll need your ID. The Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. Simple, relaxed, and all about good drinks and good times.
At Copeland Auto Body, we strive to be the area's consistent provider of advanced collision repair. We want all of our customers to have a stress-free experience when they bring their car to Copeland Auto Body. Give them a call at 641-653-2140. Find them online at CopelandAutoBody.com. Copeland Auto Body, located in Hedrick, Copeland Collision Center in Oskaloosa, and Copeland Towing and Recovery in Sigourney. For auto body and towing for Hedrick, Oskaloosa, and Sigourney, see Copeland Auto Body.
At Nutrien Ag Solutions, We are dedicated to your success. We partner with growers like you to expand your possibilities with unparalleled offerings. Your unique challenges are met with more customized solutions than anyone else can offer. With you, we're feeding the future together.
We make smiles happen at Oski Dental, located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. Schedule your appointment with Dr. Schuster or Dr. Ingram, always accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all your insurance forms for you, and they're a Delta dental provider. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 1 and 1:40 to 4:30 p.m. Every other Friday from 8 to 2, closed on Saturday and Sunday. Call today to schedule your appointment at 641-673-4845. Oski Dental. We make smiles happen. Hey, we are coming back here live to TNT, live from the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. We got a great show lined up for you. We're going to get to it right now. Ben Block Racing hanging out with us on this Tuesday night. Neil and Curtis hanging out as well. You guys have got the koozies there. Take it away, Neil.
I mean, I'm with you guys. I really am. But I'm just trying to make mine look as... Ben is good at everything, apparently. He can make his stand up better.
I don't
than
know
mine.
about that. We're on the mountain climb, as Curtis would say.
That's right. We're climbing the mountain.
Climbing the mountain.
Everybody's got a Mount Everest.
Exactly.
Some people's is making the koozie stand up on Tuesday nights.
Sometimes it's the little things
That's
also.
right. Hey, victory's a victory.
That's right. That's right. Ben, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This is exciting. I don't even really know where to start except for just the normal. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell everybody out there that may not know who Ben Block is and where did you get started?
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised here in central Iowa. Grew up in Prairie City, live in Monroe now, so the PCM area for anybody who knows that. Went away for
Mustangs.
Yeah, there we go, right? Went away for a little bit for college and, decided to come back. I never fell into that group of like, I want to move out of the state. I want to move out of the town that I grew up in. I never fell into that crowd. I think the town that I grew up in, just the community and the state of Iowa in general is a great place to live, raise a family, do all that. So came back, but the racing deal's been a dream ever since I was a little kid, thanks to that guy sitting in the back there, my dad. He just took me down to Knoxville, was the track that we always went to when I was a kid because, that was the closest one. So went down there, this was the first year we haven't been present at a Knoxville Nationals since I was like, what year would you say? Since 2007 was
Since you were 7.
Yeah, so like.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute.
Gosh, we're old for that.
Hang on. Math is not my strong point.
Well, that, and when you say 2007, it's like you have to be older than that, but we're old. Wow.
Yeah,
So-
That really made me feel old.
So we've been going down there
awesome.
since 2007, like every year. But we also go to just love the weekly racing. That's what really drove my my love for racing in general was the weekly racing. Because then you go there and you start to root for those guys that are there weekly racing when they then go to the Nationals or when the World of Outlaws come into town, right?
Right.
I want like guys like now Brian Brown's racing World of Outlaws, right? But he wasn't always doing that, right? Or guys like Matt Morrow's a big guy that I think of that raced 360s for a long time, right? We're big, or Clint Garner. All those local names that everybody kind of knows if you track the local guys, you're always rooting for those guys, right? So that's what really started to drive my love for racing. And then the IMCA short track or modified stock car side was when we'd go up to vacation, say at Clear Lake. Back in the day, you would have Mason City, Britt, and Algona that would run Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And somehow, a couple times I'd convince my parents to let me go, or them take me, really, all 3 nights in a row, even though
it was begging and pleading.
It was,
let's be honest.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I'm the one, of course, that gets to sleep in the passenger seat, right, on the drive home, while somebody else has to drive the hour and a half or whatever it was to Algona and back, right? So that, and watching those guys, I like the first big memory I can think of like, this is cool, it was the Mason City track back before they shortened it up. A stock car or hobby stock got pushed off of the back stretch, went into the cornfield. You saw the rows of corn going down, and then he jumped back onto the track and kept racing. And
Actually passed 2 cars.
Probably.
That would have been fantastic.
The fish was this big. That kind of story, right?
But you
probably
could see
won
that.
it. Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that, really, to be able to witness that,
Yeah.
like you said, going through the corn and still get back up on the track.
Exactly. And, that's so that's when I was like, this is cool. Like, I would love to be a part of this, and I've always just wanted to, you know, be a part of this world in some way, and I've always wanted to race, right? So just once I got back from college and was kind of in a career change, you know, I wanted to do it, but family comes first, right?
Sure.
So once I kind of got a solid job for a while and stuff where I feel like I can start to attack this dream, that's what I'm doing now. You know, my two girls right now, they're 2.5, and so in my mind,
gorgeous twin girls.
Twin girls.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
hands are full.
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Only for his better half, because she's raising 3 kids. Okay,
Right?
let's just call it what it is.
That's
right.
point.
No different than my wife. She
Absolutely.
has 3 boys. I'm the oldest.
So I knew once they get into sports, because if they're anything like me, which we can already tell, they're pretty competitive. So once they get into sports, that's going to eat up a lot of my time.
Oh, yeah.
So if I really want to go after this dream, right now is the time
Yep.
to do it. So, and that's kind of where
Yeah, 'cause you're
why
not-
it all started.
You're not wrong. When the kids get to that age, it does take over a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you know, they can have things going on any night of the week, depending
Or
on
every night of the
yeah,
week.
or every night. But so what's interesting, like, did you do any racing of any kind, even just like with go-karts or anything when you were a kid? Or
Yeah, and that's the thing is my first time behind in a race car was in my sport mod, and
Really?
that was just last year at the end of the season. And so that in and of itself, because I had nobody, I knew some hobby stop guys that really did help me out building the car, because we got the frame and it had some parts with it, but we built the car in my garage. And I say we because it took a village, right?
Yeah.
Like one, you know, my dad would come over and help a little bit. Another guy would come over. My hobby stock friend would come over and help. And it just, over the entire last summer, we built the car. And then by the time we finally got it finished, well, it was the end of the season. So Maquoketa was running their fall special.
Okay.
Well, just like Marshalltown does, I think it was on Friday or Thursday night, they have a practice night, right? So we're like, hey, well, you know, that's perfect time to go out. Well, little did I know, when you go out to practice runs, especially late in the season, there's not 1 or 2 guys out on the track, right? Those guys are in mid-season form trying to hone in their skills for the upcoming special. So
Right.
they're going to throw 5, 6, whatever amount of guys. Well, they think some traveler coming to the track knows what they're doing. I did not know what I was doing.
Oh, boy.
And they just, you know, that. So I looked like a baby deer trying to figure out how to walk while all these guys were just trying to get in, you know, like tenths of seconds. And I was just trying to get around without hitting somebody there
Sure.
last year. So, yeah.
Just literally just make laps, right?
Yes.
And start
Yeah.
to build that knowledge base and that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. You know, that's something that I really haven't ever thought about is you know, what does that look like?
Well,
Right?
yeah.
You know, especially from a beginner that not only you've built this, now you drive 2.5 or 3 hours from home.
Yes.
Wow.
And you're going to go out there, and your kind of expectation is, okay, maybe me and another guy or 2 or
Right.
you know, on the track, and then it's like 8 of you go out there, and it's like, oh man, now I'm worried about not only what am I doing, but you know, am I out of their way, and you know, and all that. That's an interesting.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I wonder, I don't know if he's going to be watching the show. I don't know who it is, but I know my dad watched it happen. But there was a guy that I didn't force him off the track, but we would have wrecked if he didn't go off the track, and I didn't know about it till I came off.
Oh.
and he's like, yeah,
unknowingly.
unknowingly.
Yeah.
He's like, he had to jump off a turn 2 to miss you. So, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That made
but at the same time, while maybe in the moment that guy maybe was like, dang it, what's going on, you know, or
Right,
whatever. You know, if or when he ever, you know, understands the whole story.
Yeah,
right.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we were all there once, right? Everybody that's raced has had the first time on the racetrack.
Yeah.
You know,
And he had
Yeah.
the know-how, you know,
Yeah.
the knowledge behind him
Right.
to
Yes.
say to himself, "This is the best case scenario here."
I'm just
I
glad
gotta
he
get out of his
didn't
way.
like roll his car or wreck
Sure.
or nothing. You know, he just had to go off the track to avoid me. So you know that in that day learned. I mean, the biggest thing I remember was when I first went out and came back. It felt like maybe 5 seconds has passed when I was out there for I don't know 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah.
I come off and the tunnel vision and the adrenaline that I got. I was looking through just a straw out in front of me. Came off the track and I asked my dad. I was like, how'd it look? And, you know, I'm all amped up, you know, and the first thing he does is he looks at me, he goes, slow. So,
but that's a real thing,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, it feels like you're a million miles an hour.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Even if you're only 50 or 60, or you know, Maquoketa is quite a bit smaller track than,
Yep.
than like Oskaloosa is. So not only you're going to go slower, but when you first do it, right?
Oh yeah.
You're everything seems so fast, right? And it's happening like at the edge of my ability to even comprehend everything that's going on.
Yes.
Now though, a year later, right? Things have slowed down. That straw has gotten substantially bigger.
Yes.
And your comfort level has just continued to increase. And then right behind that, your confidence level, as you've made changes to the car and got the car a little bit more tailored to the way you want it to feel and react to some of the things you're changing on it, that confidence and that comfort level are both rising at a pretty good rate at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that was, and I heard somebody say it. I don't know on what show or who it was to give them credit, but the biggest thing that you want to go into a race, and I feel the same way, is you want to be more calm instead of amped up. At least for me, because then you bring that adrenaline down, because when you get that hit of adrenaline, everything does shrink, right? If your body goes to fight and flight, your vision does kind of narrow, whereas I would rather be out on the track calm as a cucumber, like I see Cole is, just to throw a name out there, right?
It in.
Like, and I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards that, and that's kind of a goal of mine, is to just make everything slow down like you're talking about, and we're getting there.
Yeah, and you're aware of that.
Yes.
Right? And that's one of the reasons that I invited you to come to the races with us, right? Number one, it just gives you some perspective on how other people do things, right?
Yep.
In addition, you're not with your car, right? So it just gives you a chance to not only see what we do as a team, but the team next to us, and that sprint car guy over there, and then that other guy down there that's a friend of ours, Jason comes down and talks, and it just kind of allows you to just kind of see that stuff, maybe get a better grasp on it. But then again, allows us also to talk on the way to the track, on the way back to the track, at the track, and about so many wide-ranging topics that it's like, okay, now I'm continuing to learn things, and in the end, you're better today than you were the last time you drove the race car, because you've learned more since then, and the next time you get in the car, you're going to be even better, yet.
Right.
So
Well, and I think just to kind of give a background to that, so like I didn't even know Curtis until the season championship at Oski. So
Really?
I ran at Oski, I can't even remember, probably about 70-ish% of the races this year. And on the last night, I was actually walking over to go see Kyle, because Kyle wrecked the week before, and so I was going over to talk to him to see if he was okay, because normally he parks by us, and so I talked to him a couple times. And on my way by there, I see the 1V car and this guy in the suit, right? And I'm like, well, this guy passes me a whole lot on the track, so I'm gonna just introduce myself and let him know how good of a season he's done, and just
well played.
And everything.
That was,
So I just wanted to introduce myself, and just saying, hey, I had no idea who he was. I didn't even know his name. I just said, hey, are you the driver? And I think you said yeah, and I was like, just hey, you did a really good job this year, and stuff like that. And then not that long later, he invited me to go with him and his kid down to another race, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, come to the shop, check it out a little bit. Obviously, we're always looking to build our customer base, but more importantly than that, and this is something that we talked about Saturday night. He asked me towards the end of the night. He goes, why do you why do you help people like this?
Right.
This is. I said, man, there's a lot of reasons, and we listed 5 or 6 of them, and at the end, it's like, oh, and also, we like to sell parts, and we like to help people, but there's 3 or 4 other really big reasons to do that. And the smallest of that is the selling racing parts, right? The biggest part of that is everybody's new. Everybody hears a lot of information, and sometimes you just need that little bit of a guidance, whether that's your friends that are running hobby stocks, or your dad that's been involved for years. Like, just be my lighthouse, just be that beacon in the in the dark, and help me kind of understand this. And that's one big thing at our shop that we try and do. It's like, hey, we want to save people money if we can on race car parts, right? That's a great goal to have, and we try and do that every day. But even if we can't, and we stop you from buying the wrong part, you spend $100 on this part, and it's like, okay, that's great. The other one was $120, but this isn't what you needed. Now you got to buy the 100. Now you're $220 into a $120 part, and it's like, if we can help with those sorts of things, or whatever, then that's a huge win for us. And In our background on the pavement days, we had a lot of experience helping with driver development stuff, working with younger drivers and trying to get them up to speed. And it's a lot easier on the pavement side because you can just go rent the track, right? And go run, 1,000 laps in a day if you got that many tires and that much fuel. Plus you got the two-way radio, so you're always, you give real live feedback in those cases.
Right.
But it's the same thing here, right? We want the car to be ahead of you, which is another conversation that we had. You catch up to it driving wise, and then all of a sudden once we get there, we know you're there because you're like, hey, I wish the car would do this.
Yep.
Or what could I maybe change to help this a little bit? It's like, oh yeah, well, you could do this and that'll help it. And it's like, okay, we know you've caught the car. Let's move the car back out in front of you and let you catch back up to it.
And I think too that Curtis kind of embodies kind of the feeling of not only at Oski, but I think the majority of just racers in general that I've noticed, at least running in the class that I run, is, I mean, it just, some people say like racing's just one big community,
Sure.
and for I think the majority of guys it really is. I mean, just like we show up on what I used to have, just this flatbed trailer that was a
Right.
utility trailer. The car didn't even really fit on it. And, we'd show up to the track. We had no pit lights whatsoever. We're just trying to work with headlamps and stuff on the car. And the guys next to us who had the big haulers, they would turn on their side lights just so we
No
could
kidding.
see. Stuff like that. Or guys would come over and, they was, because they know that we're new, right? They'll come over, they might introduce themselves. And, some guys would give advice, right?
cool.
I'd say that was most of the time, especially even Oski, like Kyle would come over.
Exactly.
A couple of the guys would come over, and so that it is, I'd say for the majority a big racing community, and Curtis kind of that's
Well, and then,
what he
like
embodies.
like Curtis said, I mean, and it does come up a lot too, that it is one big family. I would say it's good to have in your back pocket a guy like Curtis, because everybody that does talk about this family, a lot of them, Curtis's name comes up.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I don't want to make his head bigger,
No,
but
because
I also
Simpson
don't
only
want
makes
I
such
also
a big
don't want him to
helmet.
tell me no, that's not the case. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's I would call him one of the guys that everybody should go to.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
You just got that calm, cool collectiveness about you.
And
he's
he
a good
doesn't
guy.
need
nice
to
to
do
say.
it either. Was
Right,
the other thing,
exactly.
and that's kind of what I was more expecting, was a little bit more cold shouldering.
Sure,
I guess.
because why
And,
couldn't you expect that?
And I'd say for the majority of the guys, that's not really the
Mm-hmm.
case. But I mean, then you get into that conversation of you can't cold shoulder people because now you're going to block new people from
Right.
wanting to even do this. And if you block new people, eventually the sport's going to go away.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think everybody here sitting at this table doesn't
Yep.
want that to go away.
Right.
No,
And so
right.
you need to, that's why I'm thankful for Curtis and everybody else who's willing to help us, right? Because without that, I mean, how are you going to get guys to
Right.
want to join the sport? That is already really hard to do
Yeah.
week in and week out, and it is fairly expensive hobby
Well, sure.
if you want to do it anyway. So why would you want to go out to the track and you spend all this
Right.
money, and at the same time too, you're just you know what I mean? You got basically, it could feel like the whole world is against you. And that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. And you were
Well-
going to have to fight through that. And I kind of seem like that's the opposite now.
Yeah, that's interesting because, so that's something in more or less a year's time that you've found out. That
Yes.
It's a little bit different than you were expecting it to be. Along those same lines, what else, if anything, have you found to be different than you thought going in would be?
I mean, so I was...
Good or bad, I should say.
Yeah. So I was always a race fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I came from the stands or watching on the TV
Mm-hmm.
to then racing, right? I don't have anybody in my family who's ever raced. We've all always been fans and always maybe have dreamed of racing or wanted to go race, but have never done it, right? So everything that I'm hearing are just bits and pieces from guys that I might know or stuff that you see on YouTube, the TV.
Right.
Like I did as much research as I could going into it, right? But once you get into it, everything was different than what...
Like out the window.
Oh, absolutely out the window, but it really amplifies my respect for anybody that does the sport, no matter what level, because the amount of work that really actually goes into just maintaining a car, maintaining a team, having guys go with you, or just trying to balance family life and this
Right.
at the same time, right? And heaven forbid if you wreck on the track, what you have to do to then come back the next week, like if you're in a points championship race or
absolutely.
Anything like that. So seeing that part makes my respect level go up, especially for the guys down in Knoxville that I see, right, and anybody else in any track, just the amount of maintenance and work that it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Another question I was wondering, since you're just new into this, and it's hard to imagine that you're new into this because you sound like a seasoned driver, just talking with you. What's your season been like this year?
So when people ask that question, if you want to know, like, well, how many wins have you won? Like that kind of thing. Like if that's, if that's how you measure a season, right? Like, okay, mine hasn't been great, but I measure it as the knowledge that I've gained and how I'm building going up, right? How are my finishes from where I started? So to just kind of sum up, when I started the season, my goals were not to hit the wall, not to spin out if I could during a feature, and not to use up an entire the entire track when I go around a turn, right? Because we really fought some setup issues at the beginning of the year where my car just pushed like a dump truck. And if I was on the gas, it just wanted to go straight uphill. So we were fighting that. And so those are my 3 goals. Whereas now, the end of the season, my goals were to, start making time to where, like I was getting at Oski, I was getting lapped, right? Guys were lapping me, and at the, like, I don't know, maybe halfway through the features. Whereas at the end of the season, it took Curtis here, who won that last race, I think all the way up until the second to last lap, maybe, to finally catch up to me. And then once they got there, the guys in second and third, I was able to keep up with them. So
that's a huge improvement.
I mean, to me, that is, right? And then in the shorter tracks too, like when I went up, and Britt's not that much of a shorter track, but like when I went up there, right, like just being able to stay in the middle of the pack and race with guys, right? That then turned into my goal at the end of the year. Whereas at the beginning, it was just, let's get the car back on the trailer, not hit anybody else, not cause a wreck. So that's kind of where my goals have shifted just in 1 year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I think those are good goals.
Yeah, because one thing that I'm super impressed about that is like a lot of people will set a goal at the beginning of the year, and they won't achieve those goals and reestablish them, right? They're still maybe working on those goals. So to me, again, outside looking in, I think it's super impressive that not only did you set reasonable and attainable goals, but it's impressive that when you achieve those, then right away it's like, okay,
what's next?
Yeah, what's the next? Because let's face it, I had a great friend of mine that raced for years and years and years, and he was always so focused on how do I win a race? How do I win a race?
Really?
And I'm like, whoa, hold on. That's eating an elephant, right? How do you eat an elephant? Right, one bite at a time, right? Yep. How do you walk 1,000,000 steps, right? One step at a time. Let's break this down into manageable things, because otherwise it seems so unattainable. Now, the reality is, if this is watching in the stands and this is winning a race, you're a lot closer to winning a race just by fielding a car than you are to, you're way closer to winning a race than you were when you were sitting in the stands. That's so there's a lot to just be said about that period. And I think that's one of the cool things about your story is that, you did it, quite frankly, about the hardest way possible. Right?
Sounds like it.
And there was a reason for that.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to do it the hardest way because I could have just went out and bought a car, whether it be brand new or used, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to buy just the body, the frame, and I wanted to build the car because I wanted to learn. That was one thing.
Get the know-how of how to put it together.
I'm the kind of guy, I want to know why. I want to know why my car's doing this, why it feels like this, and I want to be able to work on my car if I can, right? So, and I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a gearhead, but I want to at least know how my car works, how it runs, and what I can do to make it better, right? So that's why I try to go the hard route in building it, right? And also one of the things that I just kind of want everybody to know with it is that I just want them to know, like, because on my Facebook page for the race car, a lot of people have been commenting, hey, this has been my dream forever, I've always wanted to do this, how do I get into it? Just go either get the car, build the car, and do it. And anybody can do it. It's kind of the biggest thing that I want to put out there, because I'm doing this on, a lot of people say budget racing, I like to say poverty racing for me, because I've learned what some people's budget racing is, and I'm not a budget racer, right? Like I'm somewhere below that, right? And so you can come in with a very minimal budget, still have fun, you're still learning, and and still gaining on that. Because I didn't want to just put a whole bunch of money into this if I was just going to go out and wreck on the first night, right?
Right.
I want to be able to build the skills that I don't have and that I'm currently gaining before I start putting some more funds and stuff into it, right?
Like it literally is like a Cinderella story almost.
It really is,
to
right?
hear you say you're not even a gearhead, or you know, I mean, you didn't grow up working on motors and
Yeah.
building cars or anything.
I mean, you know,
it's crazy.
my dad's smirking back there. I was one of those guys where like he'd come in and be like, "Hey, you want to help me with this?" And I'd be like, I got something else I'd rather do." So not really. Like I was big into working. Like when I was in school, like I'd rather just go make
Get the money. Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
No,
so
I understand that too.
You know, and I wish, you know, right? Hindsight, I wish I would have spent more time in there because that knowledge would have been a lot more helpful. But now he's making up for that because he always likes to come over and tell me how to do things now, right? Which is super great. Like I couldn't have done it without him, and there's a couple other guys that none of this would be able to happen without him because I couldn't have done it by myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And the guys that do, if there's anybody out there that says, "Yep, I just do it all by myself," like you're either what's the old NASCAR guy who's running the UMPs right now? Like Kenny Wallace, right?
Yeah.
Like you're either a Kenny Wallace where you've got decades and decades of this,
Sure.
and you've got you know, not unlimited funds, but you've got enough funds to where you can do it, right? Or, I don't think you're doing it all by yourself. Like, there's no way, you know.
Right.
You know, and that, you know, that's such a recurring theme. I mean, we hear it every single night, right? It takes a village, right? And it takes a lot of support, and that support can be, you know, family wise, right? Help in the shop, help at the track, can be sponsorship wise, can be a lot of those things. And that's after we take the break. That's a cool side of what you're doing. That's actually how I met you was through the social media stuff. So I really want to dig into that after we do the break. But before we do that, just give a shout out if you would to the folks that are there sponsor wise and family and friends wise. Just because it truly takes everybody that's involved, you know, and that's kind of was a running joke at our shop for a long time, you know. Well, how much does it take? Every single thing that you can put towards it. Yeah, all of them.
Well, how much time do we have? Because I got
no. You take as much time as you want, buddy.
So first off, I have to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without Him, I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
None of us would.
And then I got to think, like you like to call my better half,
significantly
my wife,
better
right?
half, just for the record. Okay.
Yeah, right. Without her, there's none of this because there's, you know, she watches the kids and, you know, likes to help me out too. So, and it's the support part of it, right? If she wasn't willing to let me do this, which I had to do some convincing, right, to even start this.
It wasn't just like, I think you should go.
Well,
I'm
so like
pretty confident it was her idea. Get out of my hair.
Yeah. No, I'm a very big thrill seeker, and so when she's like, "This is another thing I have to worry about you," I'm like, "Well, at least this one's got a roll cage around it."
Exactly.
So
There you go.
Right. So yeah, without her, wouldn't be possible. And then like my family, my dad, my mom, you know, they'll watch the girls, or my dad will come help on the car. Same with her family, right, watching the kids at race night, right? Because right now they're a little too small for me to want to bring them to a track, right? So they'll watch the kids, and then Steve DeBryan, he's one of our pit guys. He's one of those guys that my best friend, it's his dad, and he was just, God gave him the ability to just see something and know how to fix it. Right, so
that's a pretty good friend to have.
Right, and so
for anybody.
One of the nights when we were at Oski, I just got my door pushed in, and we come off the track, and we're trying to figure out how in the world are we going to get this thing back together, stable enough to get back out on the feature. Here he is drilling a hole in a dime to make a washer that we we to hold the brace
dime.
together.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
love it.
Yes. And
I love
so
it.
he just, anything that you've got a problem with,
That's awesome.
God gave him that ability to do that. So without him, you know, again,
Pretty amazing, man.
thing wouldn't happen. Tyler Peterson's another one, big supporter of mine, and then I hope he thinks me of him as well, right?
Yeah.
He's came from the sprint car world. Him and his family, the Ball family, has been involved in racing quite a bit.
Oh yeah, back. Gosh, I can remember racing go-karts with Jamie and and those guys. Gosh, at Newton and Oski back in the '80s.
Yes.
You know. So wow.
Yeah.
That's
that's
awesome.
Calvin Don't, big he hobby stock guy, which now he's just really, you know, bringing up his kid right now in racing. He was a big help, especially when putting the motor together. That's one thing I didn't know about was like when you go get a motor,
It's not ready.
It's not plug and play.
Right.
There's a lot more
That's why
plugging
when you
in
said
than
you
just
didn't
playing.
grow up as a gearhead, I'm like,
No,
boy,
no.
there's a lot more than just
No.
the car and the frame. You know, I mean, there's
No, yeah, you go get the motor, and there's like upteen amount of parts that you got
Yeah.
to put on it before it even goes in the car. So without him, right, he helped me put the motor together.
That's
right,
awesome.
I just got the parts and helped me do it where I could learn and now be able to do it as I had to this year when I had a motor blow up, and then thank goodness I had those skills to be able to put a new one in.
Sure.
Right. So those are the guys that really are at the track with me the most. And then every other extended family members or fans that have bought merchandise like the shirts, the koozies, all that stuff goes towards funding the car, right? Because I that's the thing that I'm struggling with is funds, right? And that's every racer is going
Yeah.
to say they
Yeah,
struggle with that,
absolutely.
right? And then the sponsors, without them, I wouldn't even been able to feel the car. So last year I was able to go out with I had one sponsor, but he wasn't on the car because he bought my shocks for me, Michael Jeanette. He's a big stock car racer with IMCA, so he owns a gutter business, Well Hung Gutters.
Okay.
He bought my first set for me, and so yeah, he was
what a great name.
Instrumental there. I wouldn't have been able to
10
get on the
business
track.
names
So
ever.
yeah, and then I got to start. I'm going to try to start from the front of the car and work my way back, and hopefully not forget anybody. But Brooklyn Raceway, Don over there, he let me go out and test my car, which
cool.
To me, I needed when I put a motor in a car and a transmission and all that stuff. I want to make
shake
sure
it down, make sure it
I want to
works
make sure
and
I can
doesn't
turn
leak.
left.
Well,
and-
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So he'd let me go out and actually, run the track a little bit. And then American Radiator, they're the radiator that we have in the car right now, and I've had no overheating issues the entire year. So I can't say enough about them. Trying to think who else. I know I've got one. Nope, they were both on the hood. And then going to the back, we've got Dry Seal. It's another construction company that, and the thing, when I list these out, that's even if they're family, I've never been in racing before. I'm telling them, hey, I've been out on the track 1-2 times.
Right.
You want to come sponsor me, right?
Sure.
And so for them just to be able to, have the belief in me and to do it's huge,
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome.
Absolutely. Rudolph Insurance Company out of Indianola. And then Jersey Freeze has been a big contributor. Lynn's kind of in everything when it comes to racing, and I think it's paying dividends.
Yeah,
for him.
huge supporter.
Absolutely.
From a lot of things, Knoxville related to some of the more local stuff. Just a great ambassador for the sport, and
Right.
They just do great stuff, and let's face it, they've got
Right.
pretty darn good product too.
Well, and you talk like you said to me before, like there's guys that need racing, and then there's people that racing needs, and
Absolutely.
he's one of those guys.
Bingo.
That's
Right.
cool. Yeah,
And,
that's very good.
Janzine Trucking out of southwestern Minnesota, Jackson, Minnesota, specifically, another sprint car kind of world over there. And then Sean Gord, another construction guy out of Prairie City. So, I mean, and then Thinking Inc. Brandon over at Thinking Inc. Graphics out of Knoxville. So normally he just does sprint cars, right? Well, Tyler Peterson, who I mentioned earlier, kind of works around him, and he said that he loved the idea of the car and wanted to help me out. And
That's cool.
And he's the one who designed the wrap of the car.
And I want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
When we
Absolutely.
come back too. So, is
Yep.
there anybody else? I didn't want to cut you
I
off.
think that's it. I hope I hit
Okay,
it.
well,
wait, hold on.
one of the sponsors, we'll be talking about that right when we come back, but we'll have more with Ben Block right after this.
When families in Oskaloosa need compassion, comfort, and caring support, they turn to Bates Funeral Chapel. At Bates Funeral Chapel, our warm, home-like atmosphere and attentive professional staff provide a comforting place for families to laugh, cry, remember, and begin the healing process following the loss of a loved one. Whether your wishes are traditional or unique, we are committed to creating a meaningful and professionally orchestrated service that honors every life with dignity and care. Bates Funeral Chapel, 114 South 7th Street in Oskaloosa, where service is more than just a word.
If you've had a run-in with a deer, a fender bender, or any sort of accident with your vehicle, take it to Tony and the guys at Sigourney Body Shop at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. They'll get you back on the road in no time, and Tony will help you out with a free estimate. It's service with a smile at Sigourney Body Shop. Give them a call at 641-622-2022, or again, stop in at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. Signs Plumbing, offering top quality plumbing services, boilers, and general HVAC and furnace repairs. Call James at 641-919-8973. You can also find Signs Plumbing on Facebook. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling services, call Signs Plumbing at 641-919-8973. Signs Plumbing at 208 Ackerd Street in Harper, serving the surrounding area. For top quality service, call Signs Plumbing.
Hi, I'm Krista Sellers, driver of the 7K Figure 8 race truck. I race at local Figure 8 tracks across southern Iowa. One of my good sponsors is CJ at Sigourney Motors. Next time you or someone you know is looking for a good used vehicle or in need of some minor repairs, you can contact CJ at Sigourney Motors. Give them a call at 641-224-8056 or stop by 705 East Jackson Street in Sigourney, Iowa. Hope to see you at the races or at CJ's shop.
Hey, we do thank all of our sponsors for making the Tuesday night tune-up possible. We're live every Tuesday night right here at the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa. We're here on a beautiful Tuesday night here in southeast Iowa. I don't know what's going on up there on the table right now, but Neil got a whole bunch of different
Neil
samples.
sure knows what's going on.
Well, we're talking sponsors, and this, I love the fact that Ben thought this through this week. Last week we had AJ Johnson.
Didn't take that much thinking.
Well, I mean, at least remembering.
Right.
But last week with AJ on the show with us, he brought up Jersey Freeze, and Steve might have made the comment, well, he should have brought us some. This guy is coming back more often to the show. Yeah, he is definitely our new favorite driver.
Right after Josh every week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should just be on every week with us, man.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not that far away.
All it's going to cost is the same ice cream.
Yep, just some ice cream. We left off with the sponsors.
Yeah, I got one more that I forgot.
Okay,
yeah,
who's that?
So Brian Anderson with AgroFinance jumped in here in the middle of the season, and so any farmers out there that need insurance, contact him.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I couldn't do it without any of those guys because I'm a kind of person where, like I said before, family comes first, right? So without them, I wouldn't be out there on the track. So they make all of this possible.
And are you making the whole juggling of track time and family time and work and everything?
I mean,
is it?
My wife isn't here right now.
Yeah, right. You can say anything you want.
Right. But
she can't go back and watch it.
I'm trying. We're still figuring that out, right?
Right.
Kind of like that mountain I'm climbing
Exactly.
with racing. I'm also climbing that mountain and trying to figure out how to balance all that, right? I'm trying.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I've been doing this almost 40 years, and I don't have it figured out, right? My wife will tell you that. Maybe my wife shared that to your wife. But here's the other thing to think about with that, right? That goalpost isn't fixed, right? That goalpost is always moving, right?
True.
We had some bad luck Friday night, and we sustained some damage, right? So this week, my wife's been obviously around it long enough. She knows this week is going to be busier than normal. You know, so it's just. That's as much of a learning curve as the race car stuff is, right? Yeah. It's just trying to, it's like we were talking last night. You're, okay, we're going to work on the car this night, and just trying to allocate that stuff out and make it so that everything fits and works, and just like being a parent, right? None of us get it perfect.
Yeah,
but.
And there's no manual,
right? And even if there was a manual,
right?
Maybe that works for your girls,
right?
But maybe that's not right for my boy, So
and just like Curtis is really big on safety stuff. He's always harping like that's number one because I'm pretty sure I remember hear you saying to somebody like, we all go do this for fun, but the biggest thing is that everybody gets to come home safe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Safety equipment's always big, and so I look at it the same way with my family, right? Like. This is a hobby. We all do this for fun. I'm not going to lose a family over it kind of deal, right? Even though sometimes my wife might have maybe asked me the question, "Are you choosing the car over me?" kind of thing.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
But yeah, never. Like it's always going to be her, and so it's just trying to find that balance as well.
Sure.
As I'm sure every racer has that challenge.
Yeah.
of trying to balance family life with this.
It's not unique, and obviously as your kids get older and stuff like that, again, that goalpost is constantly moving, right? So that's every bit as challenging as the race car part of it, or finding sponsors, or whatever you want to compare it to, right?
Because like right now, my hardest challenge, like with the girls, is somebody always has to be watching them, right? And so both of us work, and so when do you find time to work on the car? Because somebody's got to be watching them. Whereas maybe when they get a little bit older, and nobody has to be like eyes on
they
them
can hang out
24/7.
with you.
That's cool, but now they're going to start getting into more maybe extracurriculars, right?
Yeah.
And so there still is more time.
Yep.
You got to try to figure out. So it's always trying to figure out that balance.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that respect thing again on. I'm trying to figure out, like, if I've raced quite a few different tracks, I feel, this year for somebody who's done this for the first time, and every time you go to a new track, you got to change your gear. And with the sport mods, they are the Ford 9-inch rear end. It's not a quick change. You have to use that. And so that's over an hour of my time if I don't spill gear oil everywhere. Trying to do that, get to the new track. So, there's a lot of time management skills that are made in this.
Definitely. Oh, it sounds like it. No, but it's cool that you're also not shying away from it. Talking about going to multiple tracks.
Yeah.
Some guys first year in, you'll be like, hey, let me just focus on this track and let me see if I can get the feel for it, and we'll go from there. And you're just, you're going.
Well, and that was more of just a product of my habitat of I have X amount of days off, and so basically I just kind of had to pick what tracks were running on my days off, and that's where I was going to go run, because I couldn't just this year. Now, granted, next year is going to work out a lot better. I'm going to be able to just say, all right, I want to maybe just go to, like, I'm going to go to Oski all next year, right? That's going to be, a place where I want to go. Whereas this year, I was just, oh, hey, look, I've got these days off. This track's racing. Let's go there.
Yeah.
It's my thought process, and there's positives and negatives. The positive is I got to experience a lot of different track surfaces, track prep,
sounds like it.
Different lengths of tracks, different widths, and different competitors. I got, to really experience a lot that I wouldn't trade. However, I didn't really get to hone in my car in one specific place, right? So every time I go to a new track or go to one maybe I've only raced that once before, I'm still learning a lot, right?
No, that's understandable.
Yeah. It's always unique, right? And I think that you have a very unique perspective for someone so early in their career that you've been able to go to that, because like Neil said, it's significantly more common for somebody just to run, their local track or whatever, but circumstances have kind of dictated that to you. But one of the cool things, and I gave you a bunch of credit Saturday when we were talking, Oskaloosa at the Southern Iowa Speedway has noticed in the last couple of years a really nice uptick in participation in the crowd. We talked about that on Saturday,
that was
right?
The biggest thing that I noticed, because if you would have asked me, where are you running when I started this season, Oski was not on the list. Not even remotely. It was after, I think, the day that we practiced or the day before we practiced, I had Tyler Peterson text me. He said, hey, look, Oski's paying $100 just to show up in your class. And so I was like, well, if they're going to pay me $100 to show up and it's only 30 minutes away, absolutely, why not? And so when I came in, I've heard of Oski, but I've never even been here as a fan.
Oh, really?
And so that was the first time I've ever got to experience the track in general, was pulling in, getting that wristband right to get into the track, pulling into the infield and getting to experience that was really cool. But then seeing how many people show up on a Wednesday night when, most people got to work the next day, right? I remember looking up into the crowd like, there's a lot of people here for a Wednesday night. This is pretty cool. And then the car count was good, the racing was good, and then the racers themselves were pretty respectful on the track. And so and on top of that, I got at least to fill up my tank on my way back home, right?
Right, exactly.
So, that was all absolutely huge. And then after that day, I would take days off to make sure to come here if I could.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you, and we'll get into your social media stuff a little bit now, but I think that had a huge effect, right? Because as we talked, sometimes in the racing world, Oskaloosa gets a little bit of a bad rap because it's a half-mile track, and not everybody likes a half-mile track, and it's super ultra competitive there. We talk about that all the time, and it's like, you don't really want to go there. And you heard from multiple different people those exact same things.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Would you share just with the viewers and everybody listening, what your take on that was, even though you heard that initially.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the opposite of when I got there, and that's kind of what blew me away, and that's what made me really fall in love with the place. I'm like, man, I want to keep coming back here because,
cool.
you know, it was, like I said we talked about earlier about how respectful the other racers were. Like the guys in my class, which again, they don't have to come out of their way to come over and introduce themselves or, you know, talk to me at all. They could just stay at their trailer, take their car on the track, put the car back on the trailer and go home. They don't need to do anything else, right? And guys would come up and talk to me and, you know, starting to form some relationships just out of that, right? And getting to watch some other racers too. And like you talked about the social media part, right? And just getting, you know, there's just not enough coverage, I think, for the Southern Iowa Speedway with how good of a place that it is. Because I didn't, like I said, the first time I was there, I didn't know much about Oski. I was scouring the internet for anything, and there was one person who had a camera in his car when he went around, because I just kind of want to just kind of see what it's going to be like before I go out there, right? And I say if you're even on the fence of if you're a competitor and want to go, just go, you know, during the fall special, right? That's coming up. Or, you know, normally they have a practice in the spring, right? Just go and try it out because, yes, it is a half mile. Yes, it can be hard on gear, but that's the competitor in me that makes me want to be here because things are harder, right? Like we talked about earlier too, or the other day about how, you know, you can go to tracks that the track conditions are really, really wet all the time, and it's just you can go anywhere you want and kind of be fast and go around people. Yeah, that's not going to work here in Oski. You have to be good at what you do. Everything has to be buttoned up, and it's a big momentum track, right?
Exactly.
So if you have bad habits, right, they're going to bite you really bad.
Okay.
You know, if you do those bad habits at really small tracks, you can get away with them, right? It's kind of like, you know, but that's why I've really wanted to stick it out because I know. Until he told me, I just knew it, but I didn't have a word for what I was doing. I just knew I was at the right place to really learn what I was doing, and that's what he confirmed. Like, yes,
and in the tracks like Oskaloosa, Knoxville, West Liberty, those bigger racetracks, Memphis, Missouri, even Eldon, sometimes, you know, those bigger tracks really magnify right any type of mistake because then it's like, you know, it multiplies that, right? You mess up this corner and it affects you for the next 3 corners,
right?
You know,
and you just don't get to see it that much for the weekly racing because you don't get to see it on TV, right? But you can, it does correlate with, say, like the sprint car guys. You watch them when they're on those big half miles. You see a guy that's got this big lead, and all of a sudden, just down a straightaway, the guy behind him is caught up to him and passing him, right? That's because of just a small mistake that the front guy made. But that's the same way with the weekly stuff. You just don't really get to see it with a lot of the weekly, you know, grassroots racing, I'll call it.
Right. And as we've said hundreds of times on this show, you know, I feel that if you can be very fast at Oskaloosa, you can translate that to almost any other track, and the opposite is not always true.
Yes.
So sometimes it certainly is, but I believe very strongly in that, and I always have, and I've always been very vocal about it. And you know, I know. The social media thing. I want to talk about that next, but that was actually the first. That's how I quote unquote met you.
So how was that?
You were talking about on there, and I was scrolling one day at lunch or something, and you were talking about racing at Oski and how you really enjoyed that and liked that, and I was like, man, that's really cool. And then, you know, in the hobby stocks, Nathan DeRegan. Was here earlier, and he's got a real big social media following. You know, he's came here from Arizona and raced all summer in Iowa, and he was like, man, you know, I heard all these things about Oskaloosa, and then I went there, and it was like the best place to go, you know. And I want to see the Southern Iowa Speedway capitalize on that momentum, continue to get more people to come down here, because again, it's an unbelievable facility. You know, great people that run the track. Amazing payout. Competition's very stiff, very difficult.
The racing's great. We love after, because the sport mods always run second. After that, we're sitting back, we're eating food, and we're watching the races because it you know, there's a great stock car turnout. The Crown Vic class is fun to watch with that rule that only Southern Iowa Speedway has, right? You always, even when they go out of sight, you hear them in the corners because you can hear them beating and banging off of each other all the time. So, you know, the racing here is great as well. And it's just, I was absolutely blown away when I started coming here. Now I want to go to other places, but I want to absolutely figure this out because I know it's going to be for the betterment of me just as a driver, you know, getting this place figured out.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Now, tell us just a little bit about your social media thing,
Yep.
right? You started doing reels and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got the 65B Racing page on Facebook.
Yes.
And just tell us about kind of how that started, because there's the trailer video where you're talking about the trailer. There's the couple videos where you're like, I'm just answering questions, you know, and stuff like that. So walk the folks at home through that, because it's something I think that you've done an exceptional job with.
Absolutely. So when we started this year, one thing that I kind of like, as a new racer, you want to let like your extended family know that's in the area, or anybody else, hey, this is where I'm going to be at, right? Well, I only had my private Facebook page, right? And so I also, didn't want to flood my private Facebook page with, hey, look, I'm racing. Hey, look, I'm racing. Hey, look, I'm racing, for the people that, frankly, in my family, that don't really care, right? Or we all have really extended friends, you know, and stuff like that, right? Like, they're not going to care so much, right?
Exactly.
So what do you do? Well, I've seen a lot of guys, they just have a dedicated, this
there's
is
more
my
and
racing
more
page,
of them.
right? So I started that maybe a quarter way through the season. It wasn't even at the beginning, and that was initially just to say like, hey, this is where I was, and then for the sponsors to give them a shout out and be like, hey, thank you guys, you know, and start to do that. Well, you know, as a lot of us do, we all have cell phones. We all get on social media, right? And like scrolling's kind of like the number one, I think, entertainment right now, right? Just for sitting and looking at something. And so when I'm doing that, I'm looking at these going like, I could do that. Like that's, I've got a phone. I can do all this. And so, you know, I'd watch a couple and I'd want to, so I made a couple and I did it just to start like, it's something for me and my buddies and my racing friends to just all laugh at together.
Yeah.
That's how it started. And just like, hey, we all think this is funny. You know, I know my buddies are going to laugh at this. And I just
like the race car not turning.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that one. But so I just was like, well, let's just make it public and see what happens too, right? So I just started making them public. And the first big one was that one, right? Was the car pushing, right?
And it like went nuts.
Well, and I didn't, and the funny thing is it's always the ones that you don't want to post for XYZ are the ones that end up doing well. But you know, when I wanted to do it, I was like, well, first off, I don't have a ton of money invested into this, right? Why take myself so seriously? I'm not just this guy that's like, oh, I'm just out here to win every race, that kind of thing. So have fun with it, right? Post the good, post the bad, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what? We need to do something. My night in Brit was absolutely terrible. It was horrendous. So let's put that out there. And it ended up doing really, really well. And so so I just make more of them like that. Like if I see something that's funny, I think, hey, I can do that. Just like we talked about the trailer one, right?
Yeah.
It came from a guy on a fishing boat who's fishing without the live radar thing, right? And so I just took that and was like, well, everybody talks about that like with trailers, so let's do that with the open trailer, right? So yeah, and it's just kind of taken off from there. But what I really want to do with that is kind of like what we talked about earlier, is show people that you can come from the stands and go race. If this is your dream, you can go do it. The only person standing in your way is you.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we're not here for that long, right? Life is short. Why are we all not just running like our hair's on fire to go chase our dreams? Right. And so that's kind of just the mindset that I have going into it. And that's what I want to show everybody else. Everybody that comments on there, man, I wish I could do that. Or I wish I had the money to do that. I wish, you know, it wasn't all that long ago. I was like, man, I hope I have enough money to cover myself filling up my truck at the gas pump. You know what I mean? So it's been years of work putting myself in places to then eventually get to where I want to be. Yeah. It might not be a week from now, a month from now, even a year from now. It's taken me years to build tools, right? Build an income to where I can do it, build relationships, right? It takes those things and it takes time. And that's what I just want to show people, mainly with that page, and have fun with it too, right? So yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now.
Ben, I feel like not only from the race standpoint, but in you as a person in general, you've got a really good head on your shoulders. I mean, you really do, and it's amazing. I think we could go for a whole nother hour if we had the time. Yeah. And in fact, I mean, you're going to be one of the first ones we get back because there's so much more to talk about with Ben. But I appreciate that you spent your night with us. And we love that
learning. So
I appreciate you spending the night with us here on TNT. Yeah, and we'll definitely get you back here and. You know, as long as you bring ice cream. We're going to take our one last break. We'll come back real quick and wrap her up.
Stop by James Family Greenhouse and Produce in Sigourney. They have a variety of hanging baskets, annuals, shrubs, perennials, trees, mulch, and vegetable plants. Plus, you can spruce up your landscape with yard decor or decorate the inside of your home with home decor. James Family Greenhouse is also a great place to stop in for some gift ideas. You got to stop in and see it all for yourself. James Family Greenhouse at 701 East Jackson in Sigourney. And be sure to follow their page on Facebook.
Looking to stay ahead of the pack this racing season? Make your first stop Glory Motorsports, your one-stop shop for race parts, tires, and fuel. Everything you need to keep your car fast and race ready. And here's the best part. Glory Motorsports brings the parts to you with trackside parts at the Southern Iowa Speedway, Marshalltown Speedway, and Stewart Speedway. Trackside convenience, top quality gear, winning performance. Don't miss a lap. Get what you need when you need it with Glory Motorsports. For more info, give them a call or find Glory Motorsports LLC on Facebook.
Feel the thunder of the World of Outlaws late models as they invade the Southern Iowa Speedway on Wednesday, August 26th. Experience the nation's best dirt late model drivers battling wheel to wheel on the legendary half mile in Oskaloosa. Blood in our hearts, dirt in our veins. Don't miss this unforgettable night of racing. Get more info at worldofoutlaws.com.
Vans Racing in Oskaloosa is your local one-stop shop for all racing and performance-related parts, sales, and service. With a combined 50-plus years of racing knowledge and experience, Curtis and Cole are ready to help you go faster, have more fun, and save money. From driver safety equipment to race tires and racing fuel to racing lubricants, Vans Racing has you covered with all major brands. Stop by 705 South D Street in Oskaloosa or call 641-660-8900 to experience the Vans Racing difference.
Hey, we're coming back here to the Rock Island Tap in Oskaloosa for the last segment for Tuesday Night Tune-Up. We thank all of our sponsors, of course, Rock Island Tap being our host venue, Copeland Auto Body, Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Oski Dental, Bates Funeral Chapel, Sigourney Body Shop, also Vans Racing, Signs Plumbing, Sigourney Motors, James Family Greenhouse, Glory Motorsports, and the Southern Iowa Speedway. Let's take it back to Neil and Curtis one last time. I swear to the good Lord, if you guys eat all this ice cream, you are not going to be invited back.
Ben was a fantastic guest.
We have him trapped at the desk.
But, I mean, more so, I just appreciate him coming for the ice cream.
It's amazing.
Woo.
Absolutely amazing. So.
Real quick, because we don't have long. Big night. Right here, Oskaloosa, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Be there or be somewhere and wish you were there.
Yeah. Explain to some of them out there that, just
Yeah, so
this is big.
Yeah, it is really big. So Jeff Hoker and his Hoker Productions team is bringing the World of Outlaws Late Model Series to the Southern Iowa Speedway tomorrow night. And it is just shaping up to be over the last week, right? The Flow Racing Night in America was at Marshalltown Tuesday, Mason City Thursday, and then Mason City Wednesday, Maquoketa Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Now the teams have had a couple days off, restock, reload, and they're coming here loaded for bear.
Well, and like I told Curtis during the break, I'd made sure I had a few of the names that were going to be here, that for sure be here, and during the day, it was just like every hour, things were popping up online. That just kept getting bigger and bigger. It's like, you can't even keep track now who all's going to be here. But the list is huge.
You're exactly right, and it's literally a who's who in the upper echelon of dirt late model racing. Plus, a cool thing that the Hoker Productions team has also done is they've included the hobby stocks, the stock cars, and the modifieds for that local flavor, right? And that's really cool for those guys because they don't always get a race on that sort of stage, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's the coolest thing about I don't care if it's the Nationals at Knoxville or this race or the Front Row Challenge or whatever, right? It's the same racetrack, but the stage somehow just gets way bigger,
Yep.
So I know we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night. If you don't have your tickets, get them.
Right.
It's going to be much like the Front Row Challenge. You've got general admission and reserve tickets available for the grandstands. You've got the infield party pass. All the pits are going to be behind the track, so there's no trailers in the way. Yeah, so it's just really going to be So between Mr. Hoker and his now he's amassed a pretty good size team that works with him on the promotion side of things. He's a big dirt late model supporter, sponsors a lot of cars, and just is a friend to everybody in the industry. And what they're doing is great. I was so excited last fall when I found out about this, and I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
And I think, and just real quick, with everything that's happened in Iowa the last few weeks here, racing in general, it's just going to make it's just amplified tomorrow night.
You're exactly right.
Got everybody excited and ready to come.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's going to be huge, and I know I'm looking forward to it. I know we've had a dozen or more guys at the shop, just getting those last few things here that they need to just, make sure they're loaded for bear for tomorrow. So looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Look for it to be a late night or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Compared to
you don't
normal.
want to scare anybody off.
No,
so make sure you come out.
But there's two ways to look at that. You get your money's worth if you're there a little longer. But the late models will do their normal hot laps. The other cars will hot lap, and then the late models will time trial. Then they'll move into the heat races to line up the features, and then the late models are going to run their feature first. So if you are concerned, if somebody's coming from a ways away, they're going to run that late model race first to make sure that they get those 35 laps in, and then if some people do need to take off, if they're a ways away or something like that, they sure can. Hopefully, everybody can stick around for the whole show, but I know I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk about this on next week's TNT.
It will be.
It really will be. What a great show. Curtis, as always, thank you.
You bet.
I want to give a shout-out to Rock Island Tap, to Ben Block for being with us tonight. Fantastic guest. And I'll let Steve take it from here and run through the sponsors, but until next week, have a good one.
Hey, and of course, we want to thank Josh. Josh always kicks things off in style.
Why do I always leave him out? Man, Josh, you're the man.
We thank Rock Island Tap. We thank Copeland Auto Body, Nutrien Ag Solutions Keswick, Oski Dental, Bates Funeral Chapel, Sigourney Body Shop, also Vans Racing, Signs Plumbing, Sigourney Motors, James Family Greenhouse, Glory Motorsports, and the Southern Iowa Speedway. There's ice cream to eat. Let's get out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday for the Tuesday Night Tune-Up.